Well, we finished the bungee covers, and I failed to put it on camera. But we're off to another project. The door on the acro cubby, it was hinged right in the middle and then hinged at the bottom, and then you pulled it up. Well, the problem was clearing the wing struts when you open the bottom door. So they hinged the door in the middle so that when you open the door, you could bend it and bring it down and clear the wing strut. The problem is, when you're flying along and the door is shut, the door is trying, I guess by differential pressure, is trying to pull itself out in the middle. So it's kind of out an inch or so floating around down there, and it's holding the top window and the bottom. It's all hooked in right there. Well, when you go to roll the airplane, pull the nose up, stop, and then start an aileron roll, once you get to about that position right there, and believe me, it happened to me, it scared the wazoo out of me. Got about right there, the door, the pressure or whatever was so stout that it just popped the door wide open. The door flew open both ways, and I thought the airplane had come apart. It really scared me. So that has to be fixed, and this is what we're doing today and probably tomorrow and maybe for the next couple of weeks to come, because after I get the door fixed, then I've got to cover the thing with sticks. So that's what we're doing, having fun. So here's the door with the fabric off, of course, and looks like they painted it with Rust-Oleum red clay primer or some such. Now, when I took see, it's hinged right there in the middle, and then it hooks to the fuselage down here. And so you can see when it's flying along, it's trying to float out like this. And the little pins that he had on either end were little 1/8" affairs, something like that, not really strong, and they didn't stick out very far. And so that helped contribute to the thing wanting to explode open. Also, this handle for the door was put in backwards. They had it coming around to the front right here, and that created some problems. So anyway, I had once I got it all apart, I took a torch and heated it ever so slowly and bent the handle back around to the way it should be. And then when I finished that, I took a 1/16 inch drill bit and drilled a oil hole right here so that you can lubricate that instead of squirting it out here and hoping that oil gets down into the bushing. Now I know I can squirt it with a little LPS and it'll seep back into the bushing and lubricate. One of the things I just got through doing is, I don't know if we can see it, what are those things? I cut these little pieces of dinky things out, and the back portion that welds in here and back here, I took a Dremel tool and ever so carefully took out the material in there so that I can put in a new one, both there and there. The spring that they used is not a very stout affair, so I'm going to go back, I'm going to double spring it with these compression springs. You can see that they're probably nearly half again as big as the spring that was in it. But I'm going to go back with 1/4 inch rod, stainless steel, and double spring it like that so that you've got some pretty good tension back up in there. And plus, the diameter of the rod is so much bigger than this little, well, you can see the difference right there. I don't know if the plans call for that little bitty rod. I've got the plans over there, but I'm doing things a little bit differently here. Now, the ends right here were wallowed out, both there and there. And so I'm going to drill it out. That's a 3/8 bushing, probably 063 wall. And I'm going to bore 3/8 here and here. And then I'm going to bush this area. I'm going to weld it in flush, but I'm going to have about 1/4 of an inch or so of bushings sticking back in here. Okay, now that's going to give something for that rod to really slide on, because, so I'm going to have to bore that to 1/4 inch after I get through. But see, sometimes when you really get aggressive with that door handle, you can pop that retaining pin all the way in, and Lord knows where it's going to fly. And if the thing is covered with fabric, you can't hardly get in there to get it back up in the hole. So we're going to bush it with some bushings sticking back in here, so that if you do come too far, and of course I'm probably going to fix in a stop somewhere up there on the handle mechanism under here, but at least it'll have something to ride on, and the wear from going back and forth will be minimal. So that's where we're, and then finally, when I get all of that in and it's working to my satisfaction, then I'm going to come in here and grind off the metal right here on that tube and that tube and that tube and that tube, so that I can slip, and I will drill for rosette welds there and there, same way back here and here. Drill for rosette welds, and then I'll put a tube, an inner tube inside there, and get it aligned to where it originally was, and weld it stop. Oh, that's the wife. Hello. Oh, okay. So anyway, I was just telling you that you may even be able to get it for $7,000. Who knows? He's pretty desperate for money right now. And you know, boy, right now, if I could go along and buy up all these airplanes and just put them in a hangar, and when the economy gets better, we could make a killing. Now, let's see. Where were we before we were so rudely interrupted? Okay, grind those plates off right there and there. Shove in an inner tube, rosette weld it up, make that a solid door. Of course, I'll have to jig it and make sure it's in the perfect alignment that it is when it came off. You see, these little hinges are going to have to come off, because this door is going to be welded solid. So once I get it jigged and everything with the hinges in there, then I can take it apart, take the hinges out and toss them to the side, or leave them in there. That's probably what I'll do. I'll just leave them in there, because once I get the door all welded up and everything working perfectly, I'm going to get rid of about 1.5 pounds of excess material in here. I'm going to come along and cut this piece and this piece out. I'll cut it out along there, here, and then along these little ribs. Okay? Once that's done, I'll remove that and that. Remove that. That's probably 1 pound, maybe a little bit more. Then I'll bend up some channel on my brake out of 25 thousandths 4130, and then splice it in there, and here. And then I am going to cut a notch out here. This is where, right here, is where it likes to hit the strut. And because it's a clip wing airplane and the struts are in a different angle, a standard door will go down and hang on the wing strut. So you got to do something about that. People do this, people do odds and ends. I've had people tell me to just cut this area off right here, weld it to the top window, and then put a lip on it so that you can catch the door down here. Well, that's just added weight. I mean, I can eliminate a lot of weight, add a little weight, and make it work. I'm going to cut a notch out there and there. Of course, I'm going to have to cut that out and put it at a different angle. But I cut the notch out, take it out to the airport, hook it all up, see how far down I have to go to put the other piece in so it will clear those struts. Once I figure that out and build in the structure down here, then I can build in a little piece on the top door that will fit into that notch. Now, the reason this is turned around right is that to this side is so on that bell crank down there, I don't know if you can see it right there, that little bell crank that's welded in right there. That's where the bottom 3/32 stainless steel rod that hooks into the stay pins, that's where it hooks in. Okay, so it will hook in at the bottom, and then I've got to figure out if I can route that thing around this notch somehow or another. I may have, and since it's a low, the bell crank comes down here for the bottom piece, I may get away with just putting in a bushing and maybe a nylon inner bushing so that it can float in there, right in there. I see I've probably got 5 inches of play that I can play with right there. But anyway, that is the game plan, and this is going to take quite a bit of effort. So onward and upward. Exercise we're going to go through here, fixing the old door, is to cut the bushings for the ends of the door. Now I've got here some PB Fabulous Blaster Penetrating Catalyst. You can pick that up, I don't know where I got that, maybe at the automotive store. They call it the Revolutionary Penetrating Magnet Lubricant. And it's great. This stuff is great for all kinds of stuff. It has a funky smell, you kind of get used to it after a while. But I'm going to spray this cloth and I'm going to clean and lubricate my blade and also my whoops, what was that? Also, boy, this thing does need cleaning. It's getting filthy. Also, these little bearings right there. So we're going to spray a small amount on the old Ragarinsky, turn it on and go to town. Now if I can just find the switch. This stuff is great lubricant and cleaner. Look at that. Helps your blade cut a little bit better. Helps to keep your blade lasting a little bit longer. Tend to wear out bandsaw blades fairly quickly. on the back. Don't want your finger getting pulled into the blade. Got a nasty place on your finger. Okay, that has done its job. Now, you're going to take the old Busherinsky, lay the old scale up on it. We're going to cut that bushing, let me see, what would be a good, maybe ½ inch, you think? Yeah, that'd be a good amount for that pin to ride. Well, that pin isn't that long. Well, it's going to be longer than the original. Let's cut these bushings ½ inch and then clean them up on the disc sander. Try to get it as square as you possibly can and go slow. Sometimes it likes to grab and try to rotate. Just go slowly. Put a little bolt in the end to help you hold it. This is excellent. Okay, we'll do another one. Let's see, ½ a Rinsky with the old silver pencil. I'm kind of running short of my silver pencil, and I'm going to have to go down to the office supply house and get another one, get some more. Foot. Telephone again. Probably Jim. Well, anyway, we're going to clean those up on the belt sander. Alright, we're over here at the disc and drum or belt sander. We're going to try to make those bushings as square as we can get it. We really need a little tub of water. Now let me go get that, because these things get hotter than a 4-ball. Whoops, you didn't hear me say that. Okay, I've gone to get some coolant, a little water. I have used Windex before. Whatever is handy, don't use gasoline, but have it on standby because these bushings get really hot when you grind them down. We're going to try to make them as square as possible, and by the way, that saying is hotter than a 4-ball tomcat. But I didn't say that. Thought I heard the phone ring. Kind of look at the end, you can see which end isn't square and kind of knock that off and then work with it. It's not too difficult. Perfect. Okay. Before we bore the holes for our 3/8 bushing, what we're going to do is take one of these handy little sandpaper discs and we're going to clean the end of that up until we find bright metal. Getting all the paint and filth and years of debris off both ends. Fairly tenacious piece of chip of paint right here. And we're going to just kind of persuade to go away. We don't want paint getting into our weld. Excellent, excellent. Now we'll turn it around and do the other end. And then we'll be ready to get down to business. And yet, once again, once I get it all welded up and done the way I want to, then we will sandblast this piece and get it down to bare metal and then prime it with Stitz epoxy primer. Excellent. And the reason why you use Stitz epoxy primer is because regular automotive primer and paint will peel up when you use Polytack. It'll just bubble right up and then you've got problems. An excellent place for rust and mayhem to occur. So whatever you do, just spend a couple extra dollars and doggone it, get the Stitz epoxy, and it's a hassle to do. You've got to mix it up and have plenty of MEK around to clean your paint gun, because if that stuff sets up in your gun, it's all over with. Take it to the trash and throw her in, baby. Yeah, you got to mix it up, and then I think you've got to let it set a little while, and then you prime, and be sure you have a good mask when you're priming. Once it's primed, then it has to sit, cure for 4 days before you can apply Polytack in your fabric. So anyway, now, what we're going to do is we're going to bore for 3/8. Our bushing is a 3/8 bushing. We're going to bore for 3/8, but we're going to chuck up in our drill a 5/16 bit and drill it 5/16 first, and then come back with the 3/8. We're going to use the 5/16 as a pilot, rip it through, and then the 3/8 will go right through, and that way you're less likely to have a big wallowed out hole there. Drilling holes by hand is not really the optimum way to do it. But anyway, we're going to chuck up for 5/16 and let her rip. Okay, boring for 5/16. Gently, easily, make sure, try to get it as square as you possibly can. And that bit needs to be sharpened, it looks like, but we pull out our handy lubricant. That doggone bit needs to be sharpened. Well, I better go sharpen that thing. Foot of Redskin. It happens. Tell you what, we're going to put the 5/16 drill over in the 2B sharpen pile, right there. And we're going to go with an 11/32 bit. We're going to drill our pilot hole 11/32. And we'll do the other end, and then we will finish up with the 3/8. Okay, the other end, 11/32. Come to daddy. Okay, now we're going to chuck up for 3/8 and we'll be in good shape, hopefully. Okay, we're going to bore our final hole, 3/8. Try to get it as straight as possible. It's hard to do, but this is one of those things that it's hard to get an excellent hole by hand. And she went. Take our 3/8 outside diameter bushing, 1/2 inch long, cleaned up. It's a little bit smaller than 1/2 inch. We're going to weld it in, and then we're going to ream for 1/4 inch. Now let's see if it fits. It is snug. Very, very snug. It's going to take a tap. It's going to clean up the edges a little bit. We'll have to tap them in. Now, let's turn this baby around and bore for our final 3/8 here. And hopefully we're in good shape. Try to make sure everything is as square as possible. Now we will take what's hanging? We will take a grinding bit. What have I done with the grinding bits? And clean up that edge just a little bit. Most of the time you can just do this by hand. Just kind of you don't want it to you don't want to go in there and bore with the grinding bit the hole too large. I'm reluctant to put it on the drill because it's easy to mess things up, but I'm just going to have to go ahead and do that and gently clean up that end from both sides if I possibly can. That's probably going to be an impossibility from the back side. And I'll try to get in there and clean her up some, so that we can say that we did this in a workmanlike manner. After you've done this, like I have for a million years, you don't even think. Just get her done, clean it up. Oh yes, very nice, very attractive. I've never met one that wasn't a lady. Whoops, too big. What we're going to do is take our 11/32. Let's see, what is it? We need a bigger bit. Let's see, let's try this monstrosity. What do we got here? I don't know what it is, but it's big. Well now, that looks like a 31/60. No, that's a 1/2 inch. Very good. We'll take a 1/2 inch bit, stick it in back there, clean the burrs off. Alright, we're in good shape there. Turn the thing around. Do the same thing on this side. Come on, baby. Oh, yes. Very nice. Excellent, excellent. Oh, yeah. That's the way I like to see it done. Okay, here we go on this end. Clean this up a little. More. Good, nice.